the new Imagine Round battle is here, so I'll show you guys how to 3-star clear the EX2 version of versus Jogo. And if you guys are just as unlucky as me and don't have Color Purple Gojo on your account, don't worry, because I'll be showing you guys how to do it with Team Ghetto instead. And you may have noticed my Team Ghetto is actually 0 dupe. And because Team Ghetto is actually like a debuffer by trade, his damage output is still very good, don't get me wrong. But because he's a debuffer by trade, I'm pretty sure if you actually substitute Ghetto with any other green DPS who is sufficiently highly leveled up, I think you can probably achieve the same result with this strategy as well, okay? So don't worry too much about that. Now, I'll just show you my skill level just for transparency. I do have Gakuganji and also Yaga's support skill at level 10, and also the ultimate attack from my Team Ghetto is also at level 10 as well. Now, if your skill level are not as high, don't worry too much about it, because the gameplay I'm going to show you guys later is a 3-star clear, which basically means my Mahito never came into the battle at all. So even if you're actually lacking a bit of skill level there, you may not actually be able to kill him straight away with all of your teammates still alive. However, you should still be able to beat this stage pretty comfortably, because by the time Mahito come in, he should be able to charge up his domain expansion in probably just like 3 turns maximum or 4 turns, and then you'll be able to use domain expansion, and that's guaranteed to wipe out a certain percentage from the enemy. And obviously Mahito is a green character as well, so you should be able to kill off the enemy boss however remaining HP he has left. Okay, so definitely don't worry too much about it. If your skill level are not as high as me, you will still be able to beat it, but maybe just not a 3-star clear. Okay, now in terms of team lineup, basically you want to maximize the amount of damage you're able to do. So that's kind of why you have Gakuganji, Yaga, and also Domain Megumi, because remember, all 3 of them offer different type of buff or debuff. Therefore, that's how you can maximize your damage. Now, Domain Megumi is needed here because you will be trying to land a stun right before the enemy is about to use his domain expansion in the second phase. And Domain Megumi basically have a 100% chance to stun, which is a lot higher than your next best option, which is going to be SR or SSR version of Momo. But obviously, if you don't actually have Domain Megumi, then do you substitute it with SR Momo? I'm pretty sure you will do exactly the same. And once again, Domain Megumi may have a slightly higher damage buff than Momo. However, you will actually only be using his debuff skill for just 1 turn, because you have to use his skill 3 first to stun the enemy, and then you'll be nuking straight afterwards the turn after. So that's kind of why the maximum amount of damage buff you can get is only going to be like around 90% for Domain Megumi, whereas Momo for 1 turn can give you about 60%. So there's a slight difference, but it's not going to be a massive game changer, because remember, your Mahito can always come into the field to actually finish off the battle for you. So definitely don't worry too much if you don't have Domain Megumi. You can definitely do it with Momo instead. Now, in terms of recollections, you probably want a Wish from Past just to make it more consistent. Otherwise, it's very likely the enemy will kill off at least one of your unit. You also want this just to increase a bit of maximum amount of damage you're able to do, because you will be doing a combo attack between Yaga and also your green DPS. And then as for the choice on your green DPS, if it's Ghetto, you can basically, well, to be honest, just place whatever recollection which is able to offer the maximum amount of damage output. Now, I have used non-standard purely because that's my highest level of recollection available. But in all honesty, because non-standard only give buff to Curse Technique, and also his rule stats are only Curse Technique, whereas Green Ghetto, it's actually more of a hybrid attack. You are probably actually going to be better off substituting non-standard for something like this adult time instead, which actually do mixed damage. So that is probably actually going to be better than my non-standard. It's just that I don't have it fully leveled up. So that's kind of why I went with non-standard instead. Now, in terms of choice on Gakuganji, it basically can be any recollection which is able to recover recover curse energy. Now, I have picked this one purely because it's also able to heal and can be used after just a very short cooldown. So that's kind of why you'd see me not actually activating this straight away on turn 1. I think I'll probably only activate it on turn 3 or something. However, if you do not have this, don't worry. You can equip it with any other recollection which is able to increase curse energy. For example, curse and bubbles will work, and also hot pop party would also work, right? They all increase curse energy. The only thing you have to bear in mind is depending on what your cooldown length is, you may have to activate it straight away on turn 1 because you actually want to activate this recollection twice in this battle. So that's kind of why, depending on the length of your cooldown on your recollection, you can decide which turn is the latest you have to activate it by. Okay, so that's basically all of the recollection choices. Now, in terms of strategy itself, it's pretty simple. You want to go for a nuke with Team Ghetto's ultimate attack straight away on the second turn once the enemy enters second phase. And that's because on the first phase, the enemy is going to have a massive damage taken decrease on him. So you won't be able to do much damage there. And that's kind of why you'll be using Domain Megumi to stun the enemy, or use SR Momo to stun the enemy to get rid of that one extra turn. And after the next turn, the damage taken debuff is going to go away, and then you can proceed as usual to actually burst him down with your ultimate attack. And as a result of that, basically what you want to do is you want to conserve all of your curse energy towards the second half of the battle, so you don't actually want to activate the skills on your character straight away too early. And I believe I have only started activating kind of the buff and debuff skill on all of my characters on turn 4, just to make sure that I am actually able to conserve as much curse energy as possible towards when my getter will actually be using his ultimate attack to actually nuke. Now, the thing with Domain Megumi is that you don't want to activate his domain too early either, and that's because you want to make sure you still have his skill 3 available when you actually do his stun attack on the second wave. So that's basically why you have to have it. And then also, not just for to be able to use this, but also for the turn afterwards, you also want to apply this debuff so that you can actually then give a bit of extra boost to your getter or your green DPS damage output. So you definitely don't want to use his domain expansion straight away. And I believe I have only activated this like on turn 6, basically like one turn away from the enemy about to charge up his ultimate attack in the first phase. And the idea here is that basically you want to activate your domain one turn before enemy is about to charge up, and then once enemy is actually charged up, this is where you'll be using the ultimate attack from Gakuganji, and also you'll be spamming skill 2 on your Team Ghetto just to do like keep constant chip damage, and basically the combination of those should be able to actually kill off the enemy. And then what that allow you to do is that you would then be able to enter the second phase. You stun the enemy, and when you are stunning the enemy, your Gakuganji will be laying one stack of debuff. Your Green Ghetto will also be doing one stack of his debuff, and then afterwards, what you happens is the Gakuganji will do his second stack, but then you'll be doing his combo attack, Ghetto and also Yaga's combo attack to actually break the enemy straight away. Now I have actually tested, even if you don't actually critical hit, you can guarantee to actually break the enemy, and that will buy you enough turns to actually do a bit more chip damage to actually wear the enemy down. Or like I said, if you're actually unfortunate and you are not able to kill the enemy before he get out of his break state, then you just have to simply wait for Mahito to actually come into the field, charge out his domain expansion to actually finish off Jogo.